Welcome to Storycraft Portal, where we uncover true stories that shake the world. Imagine being a respected teacher, a man who spent his entire life educating young minds, only to end up in a foreign prison, abandoned by your own country. What if your crime was something you thought was harmless? What if another person, arrested for the same thing, was released in a high-profile deal, but you were left behind? This is the tragic and shocking story of Marc Fogel, an American teacher who became a victim of politics, injustice, and international tensions. Who is Marc Fogel? Marc Fogel was a respected educator with more than 35 years of teaching experience. He had taught in Colombia, Malaysia, Oman, and Russia, inspiring countless students. For nearly a decade, Fogel worked at the Anglo-American School in Moscow, where he taught the children of U.S. diplomats and international officials. His passion for history made him one of the most beloved teachers at the school. Fogel and his wife, Jane, lived a comfortable life in Russia. They were preparing for retirement and looking forward to a future of travel and relaxation. In August 2021, Marc Fogel and his wife arrived at Moscow's Sheremetyevo Airport after visiting family in the U.S. They were returning to Russia for another school year. However, at customs check, security officers searched Fogel's luggage and found 17 grams of marijuana hidden inside. Fogel immediately admitted to having the marijuana, explaining, "It was legally prescribed by his doctor in the U.S. for chronic back pain. He was not smuggling or selling drugs. It was for personal medical use. He had carried it before without issue." Despite this, Russian authorities took him into custody and charged him with drug smuggling, a crime that carries a harsh sentence in Russia. The trial and the shocking sentence. For months, Fogel was interrogated and held in detention. His lawyers argued that he had no criminal intent, but the Russian court ignored his medical condition. In June 2022, the court convicted him of drug smuggling and sentenced him to 14 years in a Russian penal colony, a punishment usually given to major drug traffickers. Fogel, a school teacher, was now facing a future in one of Russia's harshest prisons. Brittany Griner versus Marc Fogel. Why was he left behind? Only a few months after Fogel's conviction, another American was arrested in Russia for a similar crime, WNBA star Brittany Griner. The key similarities: both were caught with cannabis products. Both claimed it was for personal medical use. Both received harsh prison sentences. However, Brittany Griner was freed in December 2022 after the U.S. made a high-profile prisoner swap with Russia. Meanwhile, Marc Fogel remained in prison, forgotten and abandoned. Life in a Russian penal colony. After his conviction, Marc Fogel was sent to one of Russia's toughest labor camps. These prisons are known for harsh working conditions. Prisoners work in extremely cold and brutal environments, poor medical care. Fogel's chronic back pain has gotten worse, and he is not receiving proper treatment. Isolation. He is cut off from his family and supporters, with little contact from the outside world. At 60 years old, with multiple spinal surgeries in the past, Fogel's health is deteriorating. His family fears that he may not survive his sentence. Why has the U.S. government ignored him? For months after his arrest, Marc Fogel's case was not considered a priority by the U.S. government. Unlike Brittany Griner, Fogel was not classified as wrongfully detained, meaning his case was not part of negotiations for a prisoner exchange. His family and supporters argued that he was a political prisoner, unfairly used as leverage by Russia. Finally, in October 2023, the U.S. government officially classified Fogel as wrongfully detained, opening the door for possible negotiations. Will Marc Fogel ever be freed? Now that the U.S. recognizes him as wrongfully detained, there is hope for his release. But the process may take years, because Russia may demand another prisoner swap, which the U.S. might not agree to. The U.S. may prioritize other high-profile cases first. Political tensions between Russia and the U.S. could delay negotiations. Fogel's family and supporters continue to fight for his freedom, but time is running out. Lessons from Marc Fogel's story. Marc Fogel's case is a wake-up call about how easily an innocent person can become a pawn in global politics. It raises serious questions. Why did the U.S. fight for some Americans but leave others behind? How long will it take for justice to be served? Could this happen to someone you know? If this story shocked you, don't stay silent. Share this video, spread the word, because Marc Fogel is still waiting for his second chance before time runs out. Subscribe to Storycraft Portal for more true stories that reveal the truth behind global headlines.